Today is another beautiful sunny day up north. This morning I'm finally getting my mountain bike fixed. We're going to head down to Backyard now. And when we get back, there's something cool in this box.
Thought I'd bring some sunshine to this cold day. 2 days ago I was in summer kit and now I'm in winter kit, so I think it's a bit cold.
Why is your bike so clean?
What do you mean why is it so good? I cleaned it.
Did you even ride? I mean, that's mine from yesterday with Hopper.
I clean mine every day. As soon as I come in, it gets cleaned.
Yeah, but
because it lives in the kitchen.
It's mountain mode.
No, then it gets all crusty and then have to come in for a service and spend loads of money. So of course you'll be telling people what to ride to clean your bikes. Every time I have something go wrong with my bikes, it's intermittent. So like, do you remember the brake? That would work sometimes and then not work other times. That happened with my gears. So sometimes now, I've got full range of gears, but when it happened, like it just stopped working and I was halfway in the Pennines with Jimmy and miles away from home.
It seems to still not be working though.
Well, now it's not.
The cable starts fraying.
I reckon it's got fraying.
So it works, and then every now and then a frayed bit splits over and it works a bit until it gets to a point where it snaps.
Yeah.
And when it snaps, then it's gone. So like it works, doesn't work, and then it just completely dies.
Literally, that's definitely what's happened.
So I think that's most likely, obviously, best guess work.
What are you doing?
Well, I was getting my bike fixed. I was getting your puncture fixed from the other day. You actually are, aren't you?
Well, I'm not getting a puncture fix, I'm getting some new tyres.
I'm kind of sad you didn't turn up with it just full of grass.
I'm very disappointed that we weren't able to get my bike back with grass. Because that would be so good, wouldn't it? Just turn up with a bike. Nick, can you give us a service, please, mate?
There's just something wrong with it. I just can't work it out.
If you left it long enough, you might like get a tree sprout out of it.
Yeah,
That would be
that's
nice.
how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty sure that's how it works. The sealant inside would act as like a nice fertiliser.
Well, there wasn't any sealant, that was the problem.
Probably put sealant in there next time.
Tell this guy, not me. He forgot to put the sealant in.
He put dry sealant. Solid sealant. Yeah. Solid sealant's a guy from Metal Gear Solid. Like
Solid sealant?
Yeah, solid sealant.
No, it's not.
He's the third brother of Solid Snake.
Solid snake. Solid snake. Solid sealant. Solid man. The grandfather. Double solid.
I didn't realise this is what a tubeless was. How weird.
It's weird, isn't it?
It reminds me of one of those like men who...
It is.
It's that, isn't
Well,
it?
he pulled it out when we were up in the Pennines. The wind caught it and it was literally going...
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yes.
It's like a snake skin.
Don't worry, it's going. I want new tyres.
So Nick's got me rolling for now. Unfortunately, the last few months in the mud and snow has taken its toll on this bike. Need a few new parts, all replaceable, thank goodness. So that's all on order and can be replaced in due course. In the meantime, this bike's got a brother turning up soon, so stay tuned for that in a couple of weeks. 650B. So I've mentioned it in videos before, been meaning to try out 650B wheels on my gravel bike to get a little bit more clearance and possibly knobblier tyres, which would massively suit British terrain, especially when it's muddy. And it's taken me ages to get around to it, but I now have all the parts. I've got a fresh set of Parkour's Alters, which is exactly the same as what I've got on here now. I'm gonna be sending these 700C ones back to Dov. He's my friend who actually owns this company, and I'm gonna be testing out the 650B version, which I think has been in the hands of Cycling Weekly for a while. They're in much better nick than mine. My first choice of tyre and the ones that I really want to fit are these Taipan by Hutchinson. I've got a proper knobbly tread on them and should make a massive difference. The only thing though is that the front mech, which is GRX, which has a bit more clearance, might get in the way. As a backup option, I've got a set of Touregs, so this is the same tyre that I'm running at the moment in 700C. These are 650B versions and they're a little bit wider, 45mm instead of 40, which is what's on there at the moment. These are pretty much a backup right now because I prefer to be riding these, but there's only one way to find out if they're going to fit, and that's trying them. Well, that looks ridiculously big. Seated nicely. Hasn't even got any sealant in. Because Hutchinson are the kings of tubeless, they tend to go on quite nice. All I had to do was pump it up and it just worked. Sealant that's going in is the Stan's sealant. New formula since I last used it. I was using Stan's when I rode across Vietnam and Australia. But apparently they've made some tweaks to the formula for the better. Here's a little thing that I do after I've seated the tyre to get sealant in, and I put it in through the valve hole. I'm sure people have other methods, but I found using a squeezy bottle like this, which I reuse every time I set up my tubeless, it's got a little pointy end on it with a hole small enough to fit into the threaded bit of the valve once you take the core out. So I fill this up from the big stands, just carefully like that. I find doing it like that way less messy than trying to pour it into the tyre before seating it. Then you have to like swish it around the tyre and then actually get the tyre on the wheel while there's sealant in there. Just done it this way for the last couple of years. Definitely the easiest method I have found. You got to find a good squeezy bottle though. I don't know where you get them. I've only got one. Anyone knows in the comments where you can get good squeezy bottles, let us know. Right, what's the assessment? Loads of clearance on the front. It won't be a problem for mud to squeeze in between there. It's probably just under 1 centimetre on either side of the tyre. On the back, nowhere near the front mech. I didn't realise there'd be that much of a difference between 650 and 700C. Nowhere near that mech. Although Shimano have done a good job making GRX further out. About the same amount of clearance back here as well. And not gonna lie, it's pretty tight on the chainstays. Probably about 5mm. Is it rideable? There's only one way to find out. So I think you'll agree that looks pretty cool. I reckon the clearance is enough. I need to give it a ride now I've set up that tubeless, but it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow. We're gonna head out on an off-road ride to Sunderland, so I'll give it a bit of a test. Nothing mega or muddy for now. I just wanna see how it rides on the smoother surfaces because those tires are pretty big and I don't want it to be too slow when you're on asphalt. Let me know in the comment section down below if any of you have tried out a 650B setup on your gravel bike. I think it's a really good option, especially if you're in the UK or somewhere with a climate like this and you get a lot of rain, there's a lot of mud. The stuff we're riding isn't really gravel, so the wider tyre you go for, the more stability you have when you're hitting those big rocks and slippery, loose surfaces. You do have to keep in mind what spares you carry though. Obviously stuff to sort out your tubeless if that fails, but also inner tubes, you need to make sure you switch out whatever's in your saddlebag to not 700C anymore. Well, I've been putting it off all day. Time for a turbo session, which I'm not going to film because sometimes you just need to focus. 2 × 30 at threshold. This is going to be the most miserable one yet. I'm going to cross-reference the power from my kicker and my Garmin Rally pedals, and I'll let you know if there's any difference between them. Wish me luck.